Welcome to Friday Fish Facts. I'm your host, Ron DeSantis. We are checking out a local African cichlid breeder's fish room today. Right behind me, it's Victor. You might have seen Victor before on Alex's channel, Tank Tested. We're going to check this fish room out. Can't wait. Let's go inside. Okay, Victor, so you're just saying you've got your fish room split in two. You've got hard water on the right, soft water on the left.
Yep. Pretty well. Yep.
That helps you with your water change schedule?
Yeah, so I don't get myself confused.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, let's start. We'll start on the right-hand side. Let's start with this tank here. Sure,
so I have basically two 55 to 60 gallon tanks here on the right side. Mm-hmm. They are primarily Malawian fish. So yellow labs, some very young dolphins, a giant albino zebra. Yeah. That was he's a rescue. Yeah. And these very nice little strawberry peacocks. Yeah. And they've started to come along really well. They're from an aquarist over on the Sunshine Coast. Okay. The only fish in these tanks that typically don't come from African rift lakes is, I have Plecostomus in almost every tank.
Yeah, I see an albino one down
there.
Yeah,
yeah, and that comes from my mom's tank. My mom, I have set up a tank with my mom, and she just raises albino Plecostomus like no tomorrow.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So I raise. So I raise 3 different strains of Plecostomus right now as well. So we'll get to that a little bit later. They're in some of the softer water tanks.
So let's drop right down here below.
Yeah. Okay. So right underneath here, these are all young juveniles. Mm-hmm. There's a mixed group of peacocks in here, okay?
Yeah.
And you can sort of see them. There's they are the multi-barred vertical stripes.
Right.
Now, if you see a few fish in here that have multi-bars, but not so many stripes, they're actually a Victorian, and I'm not sure what species. A couple of the little males are starting to color up. You can see, like, right underneath this box, this breeder box here, there's a little male in there, and he's already starting to color up. He's got a little bit of red on him, this little guy right here. Yeah. And they don't have quite as many stripes. So they're a haplochromous species. I'm not sure which haplochromous species. And if you're looking really close in here, there's a third species in here. Actually, there's 4 species in there. You can see there's a little juvenile strawberry peacock.
Yeah, I got that one already. Yeah.
And then there's some Labiotrophus. And these are Labiotrophus travasi. They are sometimes called marmalade cats. And there's one in here that has sort of the orange marbling. Mm-hmm. And this is actually a type of these guys. They kind of have that large Labiotrophus kind of mouth. Yeah. And you can see that there's an OB one. It looks like an OB one.
Yeah, I see the OB right there, yeah.
Okay, that's a female.
Okay.
Because they're color sex. And actually the marmalade cats, that's a naturally occurring OB in those Labiotrophus.
Cool.
Yeah. So I have about 4 of them in here. Because I did have a nice breeding group, and then I started to lose some of the breeders, and then I want to say these fish are probably all about now 2 to 3 months old.
Okay.
And so this is like a 20 gallon. I'm going to be selling off the mixed peacocks, and then keeping the Labiotrophus, and then I'll sort out a group of the Victorian haplochromous for sure.
And then below,
those are Judiochromis malari.
Yeah.
They are a colony breeding Tanganyikan fish. Mm-hmm. They are wonderful, and I've kind of, I want to say, for the last 3 or 4 years, I've particularly become interested in these colony breeders, because colony breeders don't require a grow-out tank.
I know. I'm also, my next tank is a colony breeding tank. That I'm going to be setting up.
Yeah, because it's really good. Now, these other ones, and so you'll see, for example, in the next tank over.
Yeah, we've got some fry up here.
Yeah, you got some fry. You've got some yellow lab fry in there, mixed with some peacock fry. They all kind of came out about the same time.
Yeah.
You can also see there's like a mini egg tumbler there on the left.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will strip the females, but sometimes I will put them. There's a company, it's a Korean company, it's called Ziss.
Yeah.
Z-I-S-S.
Yeah.
They make wonderful breeding boxes. They're the ones with the stainless steel, and so I quite often use those. So once the fish get up to, I want to say, like 5 millimeters to 8 millimeters in size, just over 1/4 inch, that's when they get moved up to those smaller rack tanks that we'll have a look at later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've got some.
Now, those are Judiochromis. I have 3 different species of Judiochromis in here. Those striped guys, those are Judiochromis ornatus. Once again, a Tanganyikan fish, colony breeder, and I kind of let the colony breeders do their own thing.
Yeah.
They kind of tell me how many fish they can fit into a tank.
Yeah.
So that's only like a 25 to 30 gallon, hexagonal tank. And so they kind of have figured out that's how many fish can fit in there. Now, one of the things about all of my tanks in this room, they're all heavily filtered.
Right.
And they all have 2, sometimes 3 different filtering mechanisms in them. I'm a big fan of Matten filters. So, for example, on that ornatus one, across the back.
Yeah.
But also I have a hang-on back pre-filter that fits into behind the Matten filter.
Yeah.
And I also have a canister filter on that one little tank.
Yeah.
So I've got lots.
It's doing well.
Yeah.
And we've got our baby brine here that we saw you feeding.
Yep, that's right. That's baby brine. That's another great company that I came across, I want to say 5 or 6 years ago on my own, and then when I started talking to people in the Tropical Fish Club, Gemco.
Yep.
Jehmco. They're a great company. They make beautiful stuff.
Yeah, the pumps, air pumps.
Yeah, well, you see, in all my gang valves, they're all from Gemco. Yeah, all of those are from Gemco. The one linear piston pump in the back, that's a Gemco pump.
Yeah.
So they make really nice stuff. It all fits together, and I guess I could DIY it, but honestly, the time it would take, and I could just bring the stuff in, and so that's what I do. Yeah.
Okay, let's drop down to, so you got more Judiochromis down here?
I have 2 colonies of Judiochromis. That's actually my original pair.
In here? Okay.
Yep, my original pair is in there, and they're still producing young. They were given to me by a great aquarist by the name of Ed. They were bugging his Tropheus.
Okay.
And he said, put something on BC Aquaria, I think. And I said, yeah, I'd be interested. And they started spawning almost right away. So the Judiochromis malari that we saw before, the Judiochromis ornatus are there. And then in the upper rack, I have albino Judiochromis transiscus.
Okay.
And then over there on the left hand, beside them, I have a few Neolamperogus lalupe mixed in with a pair of Burchardi.
I see the Burchardi there as well.
Yeah, there's a pair of Burchardi in that particular tank. They never spawned. I thought that they were a pair and they get along.
The Burchardi don't spawn?
Those ones don't.
Okay.
No, they never have spawned. And I don't know whether they're brother and sister or I don't know what the story
just don't like each other.
They don't like each other. So I put in some juvenile lalupe in there, and they are just doing great. So I'm really happy. And then I have a couple of Victorians. Then the next tank right over there, you'll see some Victorians in there. Yeah. It's kind of like that's a very nice fish.
That is.
There is one female in there.
It looks like, and I could totally be wrong, SP44?
An SP44?
Is that what that is?
No, it's, I'd have to look it up. It is a Victorian.
I don't know Victorian that well.
I got a group of them, and they're the last kind of pair that I have. They've never spawned. That's different than the group of juveniles that I have in this grow-out.
Okay.
It's a different species, but I can't tell you which one. You know, when you're looking at Africans, especially Victorians, the way that I like to look at it is, if you want color, both in males and females, usually it's the Malawi fish.
Yeah.
If you want interesting shapes and kind of odd behaviors, you want the Tanganyikan fish. If you want some fish with interesting colors but not different shapes, then that's the Victorian fish.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the Victorian fish actually are quite endangered, because I think the lake has quite a lot of pollution and maybe overfishing and stuff like that. You don't see a lot of Victorian fish around.
You don't. No.
And we do see a few, so I'm really happy. It was down in that tank that you were just taking a picture of.
Yeah.
One of the females was in there, and of a different species than the one you're taking the picture of now. And it looked like it was sick, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna lose this fish. It wasn't. She was holding eggs, and she was holding probably about 25 to 30 fry, which are the ones that are in here now. The male of that pairing has now died. So this is kind of the last holdover from those guys. And so these guys look a little bit like what people call flamebacks, but they're different. In this juvenile form of Victorian right now, they kind of look like flamebacks a little bit, you know, but what happens is that when they get into spawning condition, the male goes almost black with this little bit of red on the edge of its fins. And I haven't really been able to, I'm not really good at Victorians. Malawian fish, Tanganyikans, but Victorians, I don't know, because they look really similar to me. Yeah.
Okay, let's go to last kind of African tank.
Oh, then go upstairs to the small tanks. So that nice fish right in there. That's a male, sometimes called giraffe, Plecostomus there. I'm just holding that for a friend.
Giraffe hat.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Beautiful fish.
Yeah.
Beautiful colors, subtle colors.
Yeah.
And then these are fry tanks. So these are just before I would put them into a larger tank and let them grow up to, a couple of inches. I don't like to sell my fish until they're about a couple of inches. And then next to them is a breeding group of Judiochromis albino transcriptus. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we'll drop into this planted African tank.
With
some Congo tetras.
That's right.
And
There's
some cribs.
Congos. Yeah, Congos and crips. I've kind of, the idea in the fish room has been, Ron, that I wanted to have this top level like a viewing platform.
Yeah.
So all the tanks are about 2 feet high. Some of them I've had made.
Yeah.
Like that acrylic tank you were just taking the picture of. The 75 behind you, this 30 to 40 gallon over here, they're all 2 foot. And so I can sit here at the entryway and kind of look at what's going on.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to the other side here.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll drop, well, actually, let's start up here. There's some shrimp, right?
Yeah, I've got some Neocaridina orange tigers or whatever they call. They have all these, as you know, all these crazy names.
Yeah.
Next to that, I got a few Julie, and it's kind of like a little holding tank. There's a golden Brahmin in there. Yeah. In there. It's just sort of like a holding tank. As I was mentioning to you when you first arrived, I keep some fish for different school fish tanks and stuff. And
right.
When somebody has something interesting that they're either selling pretty cheap or for free kind of thing, I'll hold them for one of the school tanks and then put them in there.
Nice.
Okay.
We got some angels in here.
Yeah, I got some angels. It's the last of my breeding angels. There's a marble angel in there. Yeah. And there's an old golden angel.
I see.
She's pretty. She's looking pretty beat up.
Yeah.
That's the other sort of regular angel that's in there. It was a rescue. It's a little tiny 20-gallon tank. Yeah. But there's only a few fish in there, and once again, lots of filtration. Right. Yeah. Big hang on the back, a sponge filter, and and water movement. And then we
got a lot of Plecos down there.
Yeah, a lot of Plecos. That's my L144s.
Okay.
I just fed them some boiled raw peas.
Okay.
So they kind of like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a bunch in there. I gave Dave, who you had on one of your other videos, he was looking for some L144s. I said, I don't have any big ones, but I got lots of babies. So
nice.
I got a horde in there. And then next to that, I have some calicos. Yeah, there's a few fry in there right now.
Okay.
So I just let them do their own thing. And then the next one is empty. I had a bunch of duplicaris in there, but I don't know if it's their age or they got some virus, but I just lost them. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going along the bottom here.
Yeah, and then this is okay. So I love Tropheus, and this person was selling some tank, but he said you have to take everything. So believe it or not, he had Tropheus living with these guys, which are the sort of the standard convicts.
Yeah.
And I've had them now for about 4 years.
Breeding?
Yeah, just let them do their own thing.
Yeah.
And then the other day, somebody was selling some really nice clown loaches, and I've been looking for dithering fish to go along with the Tropheus, and I finally found something that could, besides petricolas, that will survive on the vegetarian
So you bought
diet.
some clown loaches?
I got 3 beautiful clown loaches, but it was a similar thing. And the person said, well, if you got the clown loaches here, you can have this fish. Well, I think there's a Jack Dempsey in there.
Oh.
So Jack Dempsey's obviously would live with convicts, you know. So there, I think it's coming up there now. So so if anybody wants a nice young Jack Dempsey, it's not causing any problem in there right now because it's just the same size as some of the bigger convicts that are.
So the clown loaches are in with the Tropheus inside, right?
in the main house. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then down in there, got some really nice cories in there. That's also where I have some albino ancestris.
Are the green cories I sold you?
Yes,
the
that's right.
ones?
Yeah, see that one of them's there in the corner.
Yeah.
That you sold me. There's another one coming up. Okay, see, they want to be on camera.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, yeah. So I've got them in there, and then next to them.
You got beautiful Bouchard.
Yeah, I know. And that's the classic case of. Okay, I went away on this amazing trip into the Amazon, and with Project Piava. And I had hoped that I would one day have Bouchard. And I went away, and typically when I go away, my wife, you'll see little stickers on all the tanks. Mm-hmm. I just do a big, huge water change, and after I've done a big, huge water change, what I do is I just leave the tanks, and my wife will come in. Like I said, less food is better.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, as you know.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, these guys had started a colony.
Wow.
And I bet you, I don't know, that's like a 15-gallon tank with an Aqua Clear 70 and a big sponge filter on there. I don't know. How many fish would you say is in there, Ron? There's at least 30 or 40.
Yeah, I was about to say 40 or 50.
Yeah. Yeah, and they look fine.
Yeah.
You know, they're just doing fine.
And then up top.
Yeah, up top, this is sort of my Asian river tank. So I've got 2 or 3 different types of brahmies in there. I've got some
Tiger
barbs, Australian rainbows, you know, and I've got about 4 or 5 pearl brahmies in there.
Yeah.
I think only one of them's a female, actually. I didn't realize.
Dwarf neons.
Yeah, dwarf neons. Yep, that's right. And some Danios, and then I've got a couple of clown Plecostomus that are in the little holding tank in there, and I'm hoping to get a few of those and maybe start some clown Plecos. I'm not exactly sure, but something special about them. You know, obviously with the bushy nose, I've been pretty successful with the bushy nose.
Yeah, you've got a calico in there too, I think.
Yeah. I think that calico is yours, by the way.
Oh, right on.
I think I got that at the
auction?
last auction. Yeah, in November of last year. Yeah.
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 Okay, and then we've got another. So your Pseudotropheus silosii, those are in the house as well?
Yes, they are in the house.
They're in the house.
They're just kind of in a holding tank.
Right.
Yeah.
So I bought my trio from you, and I'm on the 3rd batch of fry.
Are you? How many you got right now?
I don't know. 50?
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm really glad because I never saw them holding in the house, but yeah.
Well, the first time I didn't know they were holding, so I only saved 2.
Yeah,
and then after that, I got an eye for it. I pulled the female before she spat them out, and then I get 17 from that batch, and now I've just got another batch.
Oh, good, good. And they all come from another Aquarius that lives in Chilliwack, actually, the parent stock.
Yeah.
Really nice. I actually, that's Justin out in Chilliwack, and Justin and I were actually working for SFU, and that was kind of a funny story because we started talking on BC Aquaria, and then we kind of figured out that for the last year we've been working together.
Oh, jeez.
And that we both had this interest in fish.
That's awesome.
And then the big,
so then we got that 75 gallon.
Yeah, that's just a mixed South American tank. I keep the angels in there. The angels are also from a local breeder. When possible, I try to find locally bred fish that are used to our water.
So do I. Yeah.
And it's got a lot of my
nothing
tanks,
against fish stores. Just I have more success if I get it from a hobbyist.
Yeah, they come from a smaller stock. You know, and I like to keep the angels in there. I think that they keep the schooling fish a little bit more honest. Yeah. And every fish in there is a South American fish, except for those two giant yo-yo loaches that every once in a while will come out. Okay. I had about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I had a problem with too many snails in that tank.
Yeah, not anymore.
There ain't no problem with any snails anymore. In fact, my mother's tank has lots of ram's horn snails, and I was just out at her place the other day, and I collected some ram's horn snails there. And so up in there, I used to use those little tanks, those little 1 gallon tanks for just quick fry grow out. Yeah. And then somebody gave me some red neocaridina, the cherry shrimp. Mm-hmm. So I got those, and then next to them you can see that there's some blue-black ones. I got those from April's aquarium, and they just, I want to say they just started breeding and starting to have shrimplets about a month to 2 months ago.
Awesome.
This is my 90-gallon, 360-liter Fluvalvancia. It's one of the groups of Tropheus duboisii that I have. You can see that I've also added recently some really nice medium-size clown loaches that like to hang out, and they make great dithering fish for these rather rambunctious Tanganyikan cichlids, and they can take the harder water with higher pH.
So, the water in our area is very soft. So how do you get these?
Okay, I have always used Seachem cichlid lake salt to harden the water. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. That doesn't change the pH. And I use crushed coral or aragonite. But lately, I have also started, when I'm doing a water change, and only when I'm doing a water change, I've started to also buffer the water with the Seachem buffer as well.
Okay, so why do you add that as well as
because this really controls the pH and it doesn't shock the fish, right? Okay. So if I'm putting in like water that's very soft, I'm dealing with that with the cichlid salts. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of people that use baking soda to increase the pH and Epsom salts.
That's an old school kind of
way, and I know people that have absolute success with that. Yeah. I don't do that, partially because this is more expensive, but partially because this is what I got started on. Yeah. But here's something. Typically, I find that if there has been a person who has been using the baking soda with the Epsom salts, those fish don't do well in my tank, especially if they're older ones. I think it doesn't matter if they're juveniles, like these young dolphins in here. They were raised that way, they didn't have a problem. But if I bring in a mature fish, it quite often suffers with that. On the other hand, people who have bought fish from me, they put them into tanks like that, I don't think that they've had a problem, or they haven't reported that they've had a problem.
Well,
I
I
don't know
mean,
what it is.
you're known. Before I even met you, you know, I've done other fish room tours, and you know, it's these are good quality fish. They're from Victor. So,
Well, that's good.
You've got a name for yourself.
Well,
even
and I also
before.
don't like to sell fish that are too young, too.
Yeah.
You know, like I like to sell fish that are that full, you know,
Yeah.
6, you know, like more than like maybe 15 millimeters or
Yeah.
an inch and a half.
Yeah.
You know, getting up to like 3/4 of an inch to an
Mhm.
inch. I think it makes a lot more sense
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So they've done. I think generally people have been pretty happy with the fish that they've gotten out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Victor, thank you very much. I really appreciate checking out your fish room today. If people are interested in buying fish from you in the Vancouver area, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You know, you have my email address, you
Okay.
know, Vic's Fish Talk or something like that at Gmail, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'll post the link.
Yeah. And right now I have quite a few juvenile Judiochromis, for example, if
Yeah.
people are really interested in them. I've got obviously some mixed peacocks. That's what I have really right now, and I've got some other things on the way too. So right now, I think today we have about 12 species
Awesome.
in here that have spawned. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, and join me next week for another edition of Friday Fish Facts.